and we're still admitting people. So so
some
welcome.
of us tried to come in on time, but then Teams doesn't let us in. So it's
Exactly.
a little bit of grace is welcome.
Yeah.
Took me 3 tries.
Yeah, Randy,
Ooh.
I don't know what's happening, but it keeps, you enter and then it goes back out. I think we'll have to figure that out because I think that happened with your Teams last time as well. So maybe we can figure that out before next meeting.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and start the meeting recording now.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the May 1st meeting of the Bicycle Advisory Committee. And Leah just explained that it's easiest if our speaker goes first, right? And then we'll do our introductory question after that. And our speaker is Renee Harris, the Deputy Director for Transportation and Development in DES.
Well, I must have gotten a real big promotion.
Yeah.
Someone forgot to give me the email, but I'm Renee Harris. I'm the actual project manager for the Shirlington Bridge project.
Congrats, Renee.
But maybe that's prophetic. Maybe I got a promotion coming from somewhere. I'm not aware. But I think this is my first time actually talking to the Bicycle Advisory Group. So it's good to meet all of you. And I'm here to pretty much address any questions you have regarding the Shirlington Bridge project. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen and just bring everybody up to speed as to what's being proposed out there. And then I'll answer any questions that you might have, and then we can see if we can get everybody, straight with the answers and everything that you might be looking for. And I'm going to be sharing my screen. Just let me know when you see it.
We can see it.
Looks good.
Okay, great. This exhibit was done back in August of 2020 for another group. And basically, we were just showing what was being proposed out there. The Shirlington Bridge project was in 2 phases. One was a maintenance phase, and the other phase of it is actually the new pedestrian bridge. The maintenance phase has already been completed. That's when we actually came out and did the widening of the sidewalk on this side of the bridge itself, and made some surface improvements, basically resurfaced the bridge, a better texture on it, and made some other minor modifications to the bridge itself. Okay. The phase that was recently bid was for the pedestrian bridge, and the pedestrian bridge is over here and runs parallel with the existing bridge. It comes with an entrance point here into the entrance to Jenny Dean Park, comes across the bridge, and then it terminates here. Now, this portion of the bridge was recently bid a couple of months ago. We had a successful bidder that came in about 1.3 million for this section of the bridge. About a week and a half ago, the board approved the agreement to issue this contract to this particular contractor. And we're waiting to get him on board, the contract signed, and then a few meetings with him before we issue a notice to proceed. Now, the thing about this particular bridge is it's a prefab bridge. And so the idea is that once the contractor is on board, he has to construct 2 abutments for the bridge to rest on. Let me zoom in so I can give you a better idea, picture of that. Okay, this area here is an abutment that will support the bridge on this end. And then over by the entrance coming off of the park is another abutment. These things have to be constructed before any actual bridge can be set. The bridge itself has about a 9-month lead time in order for them to construct it. And what that's essentially going to do is that when the contractor comes in, he will do this portion, and then he has to wait until the bridge is actually manufactured, and then it's going to be shipped to him to install. Now, the installation of this bridge, and we've not spoken to the contractor about it yet, but we believe he's going to take the approach of basically trying to set his crane here on this leg of the bridge, probably bring the bridge in sections onto this leg of the bridge, and then basically pick up the bridge and swing it into position to set it on the piers itself. We've made provisions in our agreement with the contractor through the bid process that when this work happens, in order to limit the amount of disruption, that it is possible that we may end up having to close off the bridge in both directions and do this work over the weekend, which might take up to, Friday, Saturday, and get it completed by Sunday. Because there's really not a better way to actually set the bridge. If we tried to set it inside the park itself, we would disrupt a lot of the work that was done in the park. And it's questionable whether or not we'd have the swing radius to actually set it because the bridge is going to be so long and so heavy. And of course, we can't do anything along Arlington Mill Drive. As it stands right now, with the proposed schedule that we have, we're looking at somewhere in midsummer, starting this abutment work here, with the actual bridge itself being delivered and put into place sometime next spring, early summer. Okay, that's the tentative schedule that we have yet that we're looking at. Of course, it's very tentative. As I said, we've not even given the contractor notice to proceed yet, and we've not gotten a hard schedule from him as to when he's going to want to proceed with the work. So, we can give you a better update once that work is actually done. Once that portion of our meeting with the contractor has actually been done. Along with this particular bridge, we're also putting in another rapid flash beacon, and that is going to happen here in the median area. There's my cursor. Okay, which is going to be right here. Now, I did get a note from someone that you folks wanted to see if we could do that sooner than later. I don't see a problem with that because the person that's going to install this will probably be a sub to the general contractor. So the minute we get him on board, we're going to talk with him about seeing if we can execute this thing here as soon as possible, which means we'll probably get this in early summer, if not sooner. And if it turns out that, he's not willing to do it, or he wants to delay that portion of the work, because they may not want to mobilize that fast, we have the ability to use another contract to put this in. So I feel comfortable in saying that, sometime this summer we can put in this third rapid flash beacon, and that will help, navigate the traffic of the bikers trying to get across to the actual bridge itself. And that's my update. Anybody has any questions?
I think we probably all have many, many questions. That was fascinating. Can you clarify where I couldn't see where you were saying the rapid flash beacon was going to be placed?
Okay, 1 second. Let me zoom in better so you can see that location.
I'd love to place it in the slip lane for the cars coming off 395.
Well, no, it's not proposed there. It's right here in this median area here. This median that will have an area where you can come across, and this is where the rapid flash beacon is going to go in.
Okay. So the two that exist now, they're on the side, and so you're saying you put one in the middle?
One
Is
in the
that
middle,
right?
That's correct.
Okay.
And the reason being, of
Okay.
course, is we felt like it would be better served if folks navigated across this and they needed to hit the button again to get it back across the road. And so that's why after looking at it and trying to figure out where best placement at, this is where the engineering bureau felt it was the appropriate place to put the beacon itself, the third one. And the rest you can find.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know about that plan. That's really good to know. I'll just ask a couple more questions, and then I'm sure other people have questions too. One, you said that you can't do anything like with machinery on Arlington Mill Drive. I didn't quite understand why.
Let
Um,
let me explain it like this.
yeah,
The length of this bridge is pretty long, and you have to be able to pick it up at the center of gravity. You follow me so far? With that
yeah.
being said, you have to have a pretty large crane, to be able to set the bridge, to pick it up and to get it into place. What that's going to essentially mean is that you're going to have to be able to have a work surface in order to set the bridge in place. So imagine this: you've got a big crane sitting here in this area that I'm kind of circling with my cursor,
Mm-hmm.
and the idea is to how you're going to pick up this bridge. Well, you have to be able to bring the bridge in on 18 wheelers. It may come in two sections, it may come in one big section. It all depends on how they're going to fabricate it. That would mean that the bridge would have to be closed itself. The trucks would have to pull onto this leg of the bridge. The crane then would swing around, pick up the bridge itself, elevate it, and then swing it around into position and hold it while it's being lowered on the two abutments.
Okay.
And that movement probably wouldn't be able to work from Arlington Mills because you'd have to have that much larger of a crane to be able to pick it up and swing it into place. Now,
Yeah.
as I said earlier, this is how we envisioned it being done. Once the contractor's on board, we'll let him tell us how he wants to do it. Typically, means and methods are left to the general contractor to figure out. But we felt like it would be prudent for us to make arrangements for this to be done in such a way as it will minimize the amount of inconvenience to folks traveling this very busy corridor and be able to do it in the most effective and effective way without necessarily doing a lot of additional damage inside of the park, because we couldn't really set the bridge. We really couldn't set a crane in the middle of Arlington Ridge Road.
Got it. Um, and I'll ask one more question, even though I know we already have a queue. But real quick, can you explain why, just going back to basics, why are we doing this bridge when they've already widened the sidewalk? So it is better. So what is the reason to spend the 1.3 million on a bridge that's parallel to the sidewalk, to the bridge that we have already?
Well, unfortunately, there's been a lot of discussion about the bridge itself, as well as what would be the best place to provide a separate area for folks to navigate on bikes crossing 4 Mile Run. And years and years ago, someone made decisions based upon hearing from the public and everything, that they wanted a separation between the two bridges. And that's why this design eventually came up. Because as you can imagine, if you've got people navigating and walking, along the existing bridge and bikes trying to navigate the same area, it was decided that it would be better if there was a separate grade separation between the two areas. And that's how this kind of materialized. But there's a lot of data that talked about that, that I guess if you're interested in receiving, we can make available to you as to how how this design came about.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm going to start seeing who's in this queue. Dana is first.
Yeah, quick question. Your engineers have confirmed that the bridge has a classification capable of carrying the crane.
Oh yeah, that's number one. You have to be able to do that first and foremost. That's correct, sir.
And you've done that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Jillian.
If you are going to close the Shirlington Road Bridge, do you think you would have to close the trail crossing there, or do you think just the
Well,
parts?
if we do this, it's going to probably be over a weekend, at night, and so we would close that off. Once we got it, I can't say exactly what time it would be, but we would close it off and look to do this bridge erection overnight, and for that 2 nights or whatever it takes to do it, we would look at possibly closing off the bridge itself in both directions and doing a detour.
Okay, but I'm talking about the trail. So
Oh, which trail? We're talking about the trail over here?
crosswalk to get to the 4 Mile Run Trail and then the 4 Mile Run Trail.
Okay. I would have to wait and see what's going to be needed by way of the contractor, because I'm not sure how many vehicles he's going to bring on. I'm not sure what all support equipment he's going to have to need to stage to do the work. And so we would evaluate that and then make the appropriate call on that.
Okay, just if you have to close the crosswalk, there's a different way to go. It's not a big deal. But if you have to close the exit from the trail onto the sidewalk there, that would be huge. There would be no good alternative.
Right.
Just,
that's another reason why we're looking at doing it at night over a weekend.
Yeah,
to minimize that.
Yeah, but the detour that would be involved if you have to close that trail would be huge. And if you do it at night, you're talking about like our most vulnerable populations that are using it at night and the hardest to communicate with. I really would not. I really hope you can do it without closing the trail at all.
Well, as I stated earlier, I can't say exactly at this stage exactly what's going to happen because, again, this is something we have to coordinate with the contractor. But we will take all that into consideration and try to figure out a way to do it that will minimize the effect on the traveling public and those that utilize those the trails.
Okay, thanks.
And we'd certainly be happy to speak with you, closer to that time, and then we could think about together about detours and so on when that time comes. But I understand that this is a huge undertaking. Aaron is next.
Yes, hi. I'm just asking about as the bridge, pedestrian bridge empties out onto Arlington Mill Drive. That's a fairly small amount of concrete to land your bike on and make that turn and coming at speed over the bridge. I almost feel like it's safer to use the expanded sidewalk across the bridge because it kind of naturally turns into that road. I'm just wondering what you're doing to kind of keep that separation present for the people on the sidewalk, T-boning. It's not quite a T, but T-boning into the bridge traffic, and that bridge traffic going too fast and then just ending up in traffic.
Understood. Let me get rid of this blue again, and I can show you that. 1 second. All right, 1 second here. All right, a part of the project involves this widening of the sidewalk area through here and a reconfiguration of the crosswalk as well. So once this is done, this area here will be much wider because we have to bring out this curb accordingly. And that's going to make it a little bit more easier to traverse that area.
About how wide would that be there? Sidewalk is 7 feet, so it's looking like 12.
Well, it's I don't have the actual construction drawings up right now, but I would imagine it's probably looking about 12 to 15 plus or minus. So it's going to be significantly wider sidewalk along this area here.
Are there any actual physical barriers or things to make sure bikers stop when they get to the edge of the bridge?
That we'd have to go back and look at the design, but I'm not imagining that. I'm thinking this is what we put in the exhibit, and this is what we contemplate something similar to this. Now, this is not exactly, but it kind of gives you an idea of how the bridges kind of coincide and comes into the existing sidewalks. So that's not a great example, but that's kind of an idea of how you would tie it in. And as far as any barriers that would, direct the bikers one way or another, I'm not sure about that yet. But I have to get back into the plans and see what that would be specifically.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we don't want bollards if we can avoid it, but we also don't want cross traffic without any sense of who's right away and who's going to be coming out of a blind corner or something.
Understood.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Next up, we have Eric Goodman and then Jillian, and then I have another question.
Hi. I guess one thing I'm sort of going to ask about the finished product. So going back, that you said that you're going to add a little bit to the rapid flash beacon, but my understanding is that there's really poor compliance with that. And if I understand, the goal of this is really to sort of continue bicycle pedestrian traffic from the 4 Mile Run trail from the south up to the north or vice versa. And this is kind of the connector. So you're really sort of bringing people to the point where they have to cross at this rapid flash beacon, which is dangerous. My feeling is, and I think I expressed this once before, you have two traffic lights that aren't very far apart. One at, I guess, Arlington Mill Drive and the other one at 4 Mile Run Drive. And I would think, why don't you coordinate those lights so they are essentially close off that area at the same time and make it possible for people to cross there without having to worry about any traffic in that middle area. Because I think right now, just it is very difficult to get across that. I don't feel comfortable because the compliance is so poor.
Right. I can tell you this, that TNO looked at the idea with the timing of the lights pretty extensively. And the crosswalk was placed there mainly because we didn't have how best to describe it. When you're coming off the interstate through that area there, you really can't do too much with the timing of the lights there without creating another problem somewhere else. And the same thing with the amount of traffic that's on 4 Mile Run. So TNO really looked at the timing issue and basically said, okay, this is the best place and the safest place to be able to have people cross and still maintain the volume of traffic through this through Shirlington Road. They did commit to revisiting it once this work is done. And if it can be adjusted, then they would look at trying to make some other adjustments. But the way in which all of the signals have to work in concert together, it would probably be quite a bit of work that would have to take place in order to buy us some time to improve the crossing at this particular location.
Well, I just don't feel you're really improving the main issue, and that's getting people across here. And I mean, you could add 2 more rapid flash beacons. I'm not sure that you're going to get any more compliance. That's a problem. It's just there's such a need with so many cars wanting to get through that it's hard to get that pause point to to cross the street safely. So I don't know that you've really improved that issue. Anyway, that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Great comment. And Jillian is next.
Yeah, so if you don't mind zooming in again at the end of the bridge, the Arlington Mill end of the bridge.
Okay.
It looks like from the drawing, and I'm on my other computer here, I have up the street view. Let's see if, I don't know if you guys can see it at all. I'm very Luddite right now, or half Luddite. I don't know if you can say that. But this is the sidewalk as it is now. And the worst part about riding a bike or pushing a stroller or anything with wheels around here is this light pole. Right. And when I look there, it looks like that light pole's staying there. And it looks like that's not being, we're not getting any extra concrete.
Well, let me, the light pole will be moved. That's a part of the reconfiguration of that area. As I said, this is the exhibit. It's not the actual construction drawings. And it's more to give you an idea of what's being proposed, not the specifics in general. So on the construction drawings, we're basically reconfiguring that entire intersection there. And it's new signalization and everything. So what you see now that would be an obstruction is going to be removed.
Awesome.
Are the
'Cause that
construction
is-
drawings done?
Yes,
Sorry.
they are done. I just don't have
Okay.
them. I just don't have them to bring, actually, I was more prepared to give an overall a, a, a overview of the project. I didn't think I needed. I didn't think to bring the actual drawings in itself to be able to walk you through the specifics of it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think the reason we are asking about these details is because we've had the experience of a new facility is built, and 99% of the facility is awesome, and then there's a light pole in the middle of the walkway that you end
Right.
up almost hitting every time you make this corner on the bike or whatever it is. There's those details can take something from an excellent facility for biking to a it kind of sucks.
No,
Because
and that's that. I've navigated some of the streets around Arlington, and I've seen poles in some walk areas, and I can empathize with anybody that's trying to bike and navigate around that. But I can assure you that in this particular design, we took in consideration all of those factors to
awesome. And
minimize any issues with folks trying to traverse the area.
can I just confirm that the design vehicle you're using for all of that, for all of the turns and everything else, is something with a long wheelbase? So a cargo bike or a bike towing a trailer?
Okay, to answer that question, I'd have to know the specifics about it, and I was not the designer, so I'm
Okay.
somewhat hesitant to say yes or no with respect to that, but I'm pretty certain that we can come back and give you an answer.
Okay, I'll just tell you, in the last few years, the county has been so much better about designing things using a design vehicle of a long wheelbase bike, which means that it's usable for everybody. But if you just think of a standard bike when you design it, it's not going to be usable for a lot of people. So that picture that you have there at the bottom with that bollard, that, for example, would be very hard to navigate around with a trailer.
Right. And again, that was just for an exhibit to give folks an idea of how it possibly could look. But we don't have that as a part of our plan.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the engineers are getting the right, because they're great at their jobs. You give them the instructions and they implement it great. Just have to make sure the instructions include a longer wheelbase bike.
Point well taken. We can get back with you on that to verify it.
Thank you.
I do want to flag quickly that I think we had originally scheduled about 15 to 20 minutes, and Renee's been talking for half an hour, so I just want to make sure we're being respectful of his time. These are all great questions, though.
So, if you have to leave, Renee, please do tell us. I do have a couple more questions, and there may be others, but if you have to go, we totally get it. So, just to clarify one thing, when I was asking, so why are we doing this? And you were saying part of it is the interest in mode separation. And then on your slide of the new bridge, it says pedestrian bridge. So is this how it's going to work, that the new bridge is for pedestrians and the sidewalk of the old bridge is for bikes? Will they be labeled as such and mode separated, like one for each, or how does the mode separation work?
Well, it's been my experience that even when you have a defined area where people are supposed to ride and walk, you get just the opposite sometimes. And so I would hate to say that it's designed specifically to limit just for bikes itself. But as you see here, we call it a bike trail. And so the idea was to separate it and allow the bikes to probably take this. But I can't say that some other group wouldn't utilize it, walking or some other thing like that. I mean, most of the trails around here are used by both folks, and you really can't, how I want to say it, it's hard to govern those sort of things. But the idea was to be able to provide a separation. And so that's the idea. And that was what came out of the study that was done.
Meaning that the new bridge is mostly for pedestrians. Is that right?
Well, the new bridge is called out as a bike trail. I mean, that's how it's called out. It's called out as a bike trail.
Oh. Okay, I thought I saw it said pedestrian bridge, but it's not. It's
No,
a
it's
bike.
The
called out.
bridge is for pedestrians, but the access route is for bikes.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
The WNOD separates people walking and people biking, and they've got a lot of compliance. If that's the goal, you should look at what they're doing in their signage.
Right. And this pretty much ties in with the WNO. So that was the idea. It's a continuation of that across Shirlington Bridge, across the Shirlington Road, rather.
And just one comment, you had said that the county plans to revisit the question of getting across Shirlington Road, that they want to get this in place first and then they'll revisit the safety of the crossing. And I would just urge that they reverse the order of things. I think that, for example, the playground, the beautiful Jenny Dean playground, was put in too fast, and that it's important to figure out the safe crossings first. So I hope that the county will reconsider that. And I see that Dana has his hand up.
Yeah, to your question, to your comment that this is going to tie into the WNOD, can you reflect on that and send us a note as to exactly how you think that's going to work? Because everybody on the 4 Mile Run Trail who wants to get on the WOD is going right. And if
Okay.
they cross the road,
Mhm.
they're now in the Weenie Beanie parking lot. And how one gets onto the WNOD from there is a little unclear. So if you could reflect on that and let us know at some point, some point in the near future, that'd be great.
We can follow back and discuss that with you. That's not a problem.
And eliminate the bollards.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll channel Steve on this one. The photo you have right now shows a pedestrian bridge with a bollard at the beginning of the thing. Steve is probably more than willing to educate y'all on when you employ bollards, and you do it as a last resort, not as part of the original construction.
Point well taken. And I just wanted to clarify one other thing that the other lady mentioned. I'm sorry, I'm not, I don't know your name well enough yet. So, but the study portion of things is that TNO said that they would come back and look at the signalization. Once everything is in place, to see what could actually be done to improve the timing. And it would involve more than just the lights here at Arlington Mill Drive and at 4 Mile Run. And that's what they're prepared to come back and look at once everything is in place.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you so very much. Does anybody else have a question before we let Renee get on with his evening? We good? Thank you incredibly much. That was fascinating, and I think I want to show up when they deliver the bridge so I can see it all happening, even if it's at night. Sounds
Okay.
exciting.
Very good, very good. Well, hopefully the project will be moving ahead, without any hiccups, and we'll look forward to keeping everybody in the loop. I'm pretty certain that we've got this recorded, and the questions that were brought up, we'll make sure we get answers to everybody so we can keep folks in the loop. Nice meeting you. I'm pretty certain we'll get a chance to talk on future projects, and I'll let Leah take her meeting, and you guys have a good afternoon, good evening rather. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Renee.
All right, take
Thanks,
care,
Renee.
guys. Bye-bye.
So should we get on with introductions? We have an introductory question, which is at what intersections do you think we might need a quick fix in the county? What, if you could fix one intersection without too much work, which one would it be? And that's really hard because there are many. I'll start. So my name is Cynthia Palmer, and like a broken record, I would fix Shirlington Road and 4 Mile Run Drive, the location that we're just talking about. I would also fix the place where the Bluemont Trail enters and crosses Fairfax Drive. It's a fairly simple fix. Where are the big buttons and all? It's tricky, but they could be moved. And then this is not an intersection, but my third item would be I would make a priority pickup lane for bike transportation at the schools. I spent years with my double burly pulling into the elementary school between SUVs in the pickup loop, and I would love to do some quick fixes to fix that so that bicycles actually get priority on the pickups and don't have to wait amidst the SUVs. So that's me. And let's see who is on our list. Dana.
Yeah, Dana Bress. I think Robbie, what I would fix is the signage at this new Shirlington Bridge. One of the drawing, I'm looking at the construction drawing, one of the drawings shows bicyclists dismounting before they get to the bridge. Come on, guys, let's not be stupid. Quick fix is just to white out that from the drawing.
Nice. All right, Elwin.
Hey everyone, this is Elwin, Transportation Planner with Arlington County DES. There's a lot of intersections that need work, in my opinion, so it's kind of hard to pick one. But the one that stood out to me I worked at the Langston Boulevard Alliance pop-up street closure that happened about 2 weeks ago. And on my way there, I was driving down Lower Com Lane, and I was blown away by how the road was designed. And even though it's posted speed limit of 25 to 30 miles per hour, it's designed to, makes you want to challenge to drive faster. And just, a lot of the neighbors I spoke to during the event said the same thing, that Lower Com Lane and a lot of the roads in the neighborhood aren't safe for walking and biking. So if I had to choose one in that area, I would say Lower Com Lane and maybe Quincy Street. You have those wide curb radii that should be tightened up with. You could easily do with some paint and some flex posts, and definitely need some more stop controls in that street. But that's just one example of so many roads that we have in the county that just, encourage people to speed faster in their cars.
Great. Thank you. Eric Goodman.
Thanks. Hi. This is, I guess I could think of a lot of things, but this is one that's been on my mind most recently, and that's where the Custis Trail crosses Fort Myer Drive. The bag buttons there are on the wrong side. They're on light posts, and so you basically have to get off your bike, or you have to make a loop around just to be able to hit them to cross there. I think they should either be automated so you don't have to worry about hitting a button, or if you do, put a post on the opposite side on both sides of the Fort Myer Drive, so you can get across there. Otherwise, you just kind of put yourself right in the place of oncoming bicycle traffic that may be crossing. So it just seems to me somehow there was a disconnect there. So. And then I'm also, I guess what else? I'm also liaison to the Pedestrian Advisory Committee as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Jillian.
Thanks. Hey, everyone. My name is Jillian Burgess. I live in Cherrydale, and I am the founder of Safe Streets Are For Everyone Thank You, or Safety, a new nonprofit doing safe streets for everybody. If I had a magic wand, I would fix Harrison and 26th, which should absolutely be a four-way stop because it's impossible to see down the hill. So there's just no way to see anyone coming up Harrison. And if I got a bonus, I would put in a four-way stop on Quincy between, anywhere between Washington and Langston. Right now, cars are not instructed to slow down or stop at all in that stretch, which is pretty long. 18th Street is probably the best option, but I would take it anywhere. And the reason I did not put Wakefield and Fairfax, which is where the Bluemont Trail comes out and you're at the Holiday Inn, is because that is automated. Thank you very much, DES. So you don't have to hit the big buttons. You can just pop on across. Yes. That's where the BC Boost goes every Friday.
Okay.
Oh, and if anybody's interested, Christian Dorsey, chair of the county board, is going to ride with the BC Boost this Friday. So if you would like to come join us, let me know.
Great. Thank you. Mike Hanna.
All right. Yeah. So you've already covered a lot of the ones that I worry about. That new little circle thing at Military and is it Lorcam Lane? I don't understand how to use it. I mean, I'm sure it's a wonderful design and it's safe in lots of ways, but when I come through there on a bike, I'm just confused. And I guess that's as a theme. There's a few things that confuse me. When bike lanes and right now I'm thinking about Walter Reed as it approaches Columbia Pike. When bike lane, you run a bike lane, it kind of ends, and then you've got 3 or 4 lanes of traffic at a stoplight all backed up. I don't know what to do as a bike. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then related to that, there seems to be confusion generally about hawk signals and bikes. I've had a lot of folks say mean things to me when I cross on the hawk signal as if I'm a pedestrian, and they, I guess, think I'm a vehicle and I shouldn't be doing it. So that just that confusion around some of those places.
Really good input. Thank you. Leah is next.
You said a lot of the ones I have on lists. I think intersections wise, I always am thinking about trail crossings and intersections, although it's, maybe smaller than a big four-way stop with traffic lights. A lot of the ones where you have off ramps off of the Arlington Boulevard Trail. But if I had to pick one that's been flagged recently, I would say probably Quinn and Langston Boulevard, where it meets the Custis Trail. We've had kind of a few accidents there, so that's one that I would like to see some quick fixes on, and I think that actually might happen in the next week or so. So, yep, that would be one of mine. But we're writing all of these down.
Thank you. Leslie. All right, is Leslie Tierstein there?
Sorry, I was on mute. Somebody put me on mute. Okay, another one in South Arlington. If you cross Washington Boulevard on the Route 50 trail, and then you exit and come around onto the service road, and you want to go, if cars do this and they want to go, they have hit the intersection with Washington Boulevard, and there's a stop sign, and there's a pedestrian path and bike path coming from the car's right, but the one-way traffic on Washington Boulevard is coming from the car's left, and they never look to the right. I have almost been smashed a couple of times in pedestrians I mean, I could still stay on the bike path and avoid that, but a pedestrian going straight just can't avoid that. How do you get the cars to actually, when you're at the stop sign, look in both directions? So I don't know if there's a good fix for this one.
Leah, did you understand the location?
Yeah, I'm looking it up on Google Maps. Okay.
Leslie, can you say it again? I just didn't hear
Yeah.
it right.
Okay, well, I'm typically on a bike, but if you're a car, you're on Route 50 and you want to immediately exit and go south on Washington Boulevard. So you cross over Washington Boulevard and then there's immediate right turn and you get into the service road and you hit a stop sign at that service road when it hits Washington Boulevard. Now, Washington Boulevard at that point is divided and the traffic is only going one way south, but pedestrians are walking up along the bike ped path heading north. And the cars never look to their right, to the north. They're only looking for cars coming on the street. So pedestrians are in grave danger there, and bicyclists are if they're not doing immediate sharp left to stay on the bike path. If they want to actually cross the street and go straight.
Oh, okay.
I think you're talking about the technical northern terminus of that 27 trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly.
The trail, the 27 trail terminates, but no, the trail also curves around and you could get onto the Route 50 trail there without getting on the road.
Yeah, or you can cross the road at the crosswalk and go to the secret trail.
Cross the road and get run down by a car who's not looking to its right when you try to get across the road.
No, there's a crosswalk. If you follow that sidewalky trail around, so you're going towards 50 and Fillmore, there's a crosswalk halfway, and that leads to the secret trail.
But a pedestrian would never go in that crosswalk if they just want to continue walking up Washington Boulevard.
Oh, you're totally right. I'm just orienting to the location.
I know all about it, and sometimes I just keep going straight so I can make a point that, hey, car, you should look, and I pound on the car's hood if they're stopped even. But it's very dangerous. I don't know how you can get them to look to their right.
Yeah, I've got a friend who was hit on his bike at that intersection, doing exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
It sounds really dangerous and it sounds like it's worth addressing. So thank you so much for raising that. I'm going to have to look at a map, but hopefully Leah understood.
What's frustrating is that bridge was just rebuilt about 15, 17 years ago, and they did nothing to make it better.
Yeah.
Thank you. Noreen is next.
Yeah, hi. I don't know. I'm mostly a trail rider, so I guess I don't have anything particular in mind. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's good. And then Pam.
Hi, I'm Pam Van Hine with the Pedestrian Advisory Committee, living in National Landing area. I appreciate all the comments, and Leslie's comments about that intersection is spot on. It's horrible for everybody. And yeah, it needs fixing. I think it's the most dangerous intersection for crashes in the county and has been for several years. There's just no safe way for people to merge. Totally agree on Shirlington Road, and that it's not an easy fix, which we know, unfortunately. Though perhaps an easy fix is fixing the beg buttons or making them automatic. The beg buttons are on the wrong side, and I've noticed for the crossings by GW Parkway, they're automatic. You start approaching it and they start flashing. It's like, okay, why can't we do that at Shirlington Road? Why do we have to push anything? In my own neighborhood, I'm really annoyed about Army Navy Drive and Joyce Street and the driveway that goes into the shopping center there. At the driveway, there is a left turn light, and drivers go through that. But when it turns off. They still keep going through it, even though we have a walk light. And especially if I am heading west, the drivers are at my back. I can't see them, and it's terrifying. And the intersection at Army Navy and Joyce, those should all be automatic recall. They shouldn't be big buttons. And again, we have the problem. I don't know if there is a left turn light, but there need to be left turn lights. And then there needs to be a red arrow for all of these. We need to get the turning cars to stop and give us all a chance to cross. Thank you. And thank you for letting me be here. And I hope all of you sent in your comments on the map for the Vision Zero thing that was due yesterday. I spent an hour marking things. It was so much fun. And I hope we have a joint meeting next month.
Thank you so much, Pam. You are a rock star. And next we have Randy.
Well, I've solved that problem at Shirlington Road. It's easy to solve. You just never cross at the crosswalk that has those flashing beacons. I never use that crosswalk. I wouldn't use that crosswalk. I don't care how far I have to go around to avoid it. I just don't use it. The other thing that bothers me is that when the BAC buttons have been put on auto recall, there's no indication of that. So you get to a light and you don't know whether it's on auto recall or not because you don't use that route every day. So what do you do then? You got to get over to the BAC button, right? So I think it would be nice if the county had some way, I don't care if they don't want to take out the BAC buttons, but some way of at least indicating that at this point the signal is on auto recall. Thank you.
That's a really great point. And to confuse things, when Wei joined us, she was saying that they put lights on auto recall during the school start and end times. So like maybe it's for an hour or something, you know, in the morning and in the afternoon. So that confuses things even more. Like when we come to these lights, I don't know, you know, if they're just temporary or I mean sort of what the status is. So it would be lovely to know. No, thank you. And next we have Raymond.
Hi everyone, Raymond Duran with Bike Arlington. I would say quick fix, all of Arlington's intersections, a good number of accidents between your car and ped and car and bike are right-hand turns. So anything to slow down right-hand turns. Anything to slow down right-hand turns. Even when you take away right on red, the behavior is still there. It doesn't really fix the behavior. So Pam had a good idea. I don't know if this, the red arrow signal is something we could work on or something, but anything to slow down people making right-hand turns. And then the second spot, on the WNOD, the underpass over South Carlin Springs, there used to be a mirror to like look if people were like going. I think it got washed away. Could we get the mirror back or something for visibility? That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Aaron.
Yeah, hi, I'm Aaron Schutz. I live in Lyon Park and work at Yorktown High School. So I think the easiest answer, I'm going to piggyback on Raymond and some other people saying those right-hand turns, especially slip lanes, are a pet peeve of mine. I'm unhappy as a pedestrian or a cyclist dealing with slip lanes. But then, just on the edge of Lyon Park, 10th Street, between Washington Boulevard and Barton Street, it's a long stretch with no crosswalk. And we've asked the county for years for a crosswalk. And I think they recently or in the last couple of years, took possession of it from VDOT, but we still don't have a crosswalk. So it would be really nice. It'd also be nice to do a road diet there because there's no bike facility on that road, and it's 2 lanes each direction at, I think an average speed is about 100 miles an hour for the cars. So could slow that down a little bit would be good. Average.
Fantastic. Thank you. I think that was everyone. Did I miss anyone? Okay, let's move along then. The next thing we have is engagement opportunities and updates. Leah, did you want to take that, or Raymond?
I think I can go ahead and kick it off and turn it over to Raymond if he wants to give some Bike Arlington updates. I have those as well. Let me pull this up. You can see some of these are in the chat. In the agenda, I think the first one is the virtual open house for Neighborhood Complete Streets. This is next Monday, May 8th, 2023, from 7 to 8 p.m. And this is a virtual meeting. So there's 3 projects that are being considered. So this is an opportunity to learn more. 8th Road between South Dinwiddie Street and South Frederick, which is in the Arlington Mill neighborhood. 14th Street North between North Ohio Street and North McKinley Road, which is in Westover Village. And then also South Irving Road from 2nd Street to 6th Street South, which is in the Arlington Heights neighborhood. So this is an opportunity to ask questions, share your feedback, and then learn about next steps. And then the second bullet point that is in the agenda is, pull this up, it just disappeared. Oh, the Route 1 Multimodal Improvement Study, Phase 2. This is the 4th virtual public meeting that's part of the Route 1 VDOT project. I believe Pam sent an email out about this as well. This will be Monday, May 15th at 6:30 and is also a virtual meeting. So those are the main ones that I wanted to flag. Raymond, did you have any Bike Arlington updates that you want to add, or I can read off some as well? It's up to you.
I'm pulling up the message. I don't want to miss any.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. I'm pulling it right now. But the first one is gonna be, this Wednesday is Bike Walk Roll to School Day. So, celebration for all the kids, using, walking, biking, and rolling to school. I think at the moment right now, we're just going to ATS. So if anyone knows any elementary schools doing anything, we got another staff member who could show up and like hand out stickers and just like cheer the kids on. So let us know about that. May 5th is National Landing Welcome to Bike Month. So they're doing from 8 to 10 at the bakery. I forget what's it called, I can't pronounce it really well, but it's the bakery right across the street from the water park. From 8 in the morning to 10 in the morning, there'll either be coffee, food, and then we'll be there just giving updates on all the transportation projects in Crystal City and National Landing. I know there's more, so give me a second.
You can drop some in the chat too.
Yeah.
The chat was off for me. Escuela Key is doing our bike to Escuela Key. We're doing our bike to school day with the BC Boost on Friday.
Okay.
If you
cool.
Want to come party with us?
Yeah. I'll double check my schedule, but we'll put it on our radar.
And the bakery is Maze Dar, which is delicious. And if you need to remember it, it's right beside the Amazon Fresh.
Thank you. Yes, that's on that Friday morning from 8 to 10. So we have on May 11th, we're having safety checks and signups at the Trek Ballston stop. So we'll be giving out free safety checks in promotion to get people out to Bike to Work Day. So if you know anyone that needs a free safety check. Also, if anyone has any Bike to Work Day questions or like any help signing up, anything, that would be the day to come see us and get a free check. That's May 11th from 4:30 to 7 at the Trek Ballston. After that, we have Bike to Work Day, May 19th. So we have 10 pit stops in Arlington. Bike Arlington is hosting 5, so 3 in the morning are Roslyn Gateway, Columbia Pike, Penrose Square, Ballston, the Trek bikes at Ballston, so we're using their parking lot. Then we have 2 evening stops in Clarendon, the lot, starting at 4:30, and then Shirlington, New District, also starting at 4:30. Right after that, we have a Learn to Ride class, June 24th with WABA. Also, we have another riding class. There's a basic skills clinic on June 10th. And then the last one we have here, I had a typo in the email. The art cycle ride. It's going to be a ride demonstrating public art in the RB corridor, and that's July 20th.
Awesome. Those sound great.
Yeah. Got a lot of fun, exciting stuff going on. We're also working with National Landing on another event. I don't want to, say exactly all what it is, but some, for the month of Bike Month, they are planning to do something every Friday. So keep your eyes out for that. Like I said, they're still working through some details. So the first one is this Friday, May 5th, and then you should see something the 12th, the 19th being Bike to Work Day, and then the Friday after that, you'll see something else too from National Landing.
Sounds super fun. So what we're seeing here, the art cycle ride. Oh, I see. It's July now. It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Sorry. Yep.
Another thought was that there's been some interest expressed in doing road safety, BAC, maybe PAC happy hours throughout the summer months. Is that of interest to anyone? And would anyone like to help organize such events?
Do you have like an just general in the summer?
Yeah, like maybe one each month.
We could talk about it. Yeah, I'm definitely interested.
Okay. All right, we'll talk offline. We'll come up with an idea and and get back. Because we did it like last summer and it was super fun. So
yeah, so let's figure it out.
Okay. All right.
The last summer of the lot. It's the last summer of the lot. So fun.
It is the last summer for the lot and New District Brewing. I think New District Brewing might be finding a new home, but they are leaving Shirlington.
Oh, okay. And last time we tried to do it at the lot and then they were closed despite what their website said. So we'll have to figure this out, but I'd be open to any location.
We did Northside Social, I think.
Yeah, and that was great. So. All right. Do we have any other items that people want to cover? It's 8:06.
Yeah.
Dina.
The Dominion project at the foot of Eads on 4 Mile Run, they're going to be driving piles for for a receiving pit for the next couple of days. So they're going to have some flaggers out. So just be cautious.
Thank you. And your email said it's going to be very, very loud. So,
yeah, so hearing protection is required.
Good to know. Thank you. And Pam?
I encourage everyone to register for the VDOT public information meeting. It's on the website. You do need to pre-register. And do we want to talk for a second about holding a joint meeting in June on the back date if Dan and a group can come? I sent you a message. I did talk to Lizzie and Eric before the meeting, and they're on board with it, so that's fine. It has worked well to invite Dan to a joint meeting and discuss things, and they've been very productive meetings, and hopefully we can come out with a letter that we can send to the general manager. We are in the dark about exactly what they're going to be saying, but this is the last meeting in the planning phase, so hopefully they will answer some of the questions that need answering, like how are they going to keep the traffic off our streets, and what are they going to do to make 18th and Route 1 safe, and what is their real TDM program? We will find out, we hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. And who's best to reach out to Dan? Leah, is that something that you would like to do, or should Pam and I approach him?
Probably should be officially from a staff person.
Okay.
I think I did it last time, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can do that.
Yeah, and if he can't for some reason do it on Monday, then perhaps we can do it on the PAC day, which is Wednesday.
Okay.
But doing it on Monday would give us a couple more days to get our act together with any response we want to have. So, and that's fine with the PAC, or at least with the officers of the PAC.
Sounds good.
And I would invite him for as long as he's willing to talk.
I won't put
So-
a time limit. I'll just ask generally if he would be able to attend.
Yeah.
And probably Dana and I will put together some questions that we can send them ahead of time.
Nice.
Once we know what they say on the 15th.
That would be great. I do remember last time they did ask for specific questions, so that would be really helpful.
Yep.
Don't forget about 20th. That last design of 20th was like particularly bad. With like a slip lane and a really bad sidewalk and like
there's so many questions. 20th, what is the final plan for 23rd, which was looking interesting. What are they going to, are they really going to do this 10th Street underpass thing, which would be very cool. All the, it's like, okay, this is your final planning meeting. What are the plans?
It's 20th the street if they would just not screw up 18th. Just leave the damn overpass.
Yeah, I agree. Makes a lot of sense. Just leave one.
Yeah, we'll have a public sacrifice, and 20th will be it, and a few tourists can die every once in a while. And
but there's really no reason for 20th to be that bad. I mean, it's just like it's unforced error to make the sidewalk zig and zag there.
And part of it is the two parts of 20th just are really not close to each other. And there's a fair amount of traffic, vehicular traffic that enters Route 1 from 20th Street, which is kind of a thing. And it's like buses and trucks and things. And
no, I think they were just using the old plans because there had been a site plan there. And so, site plans come with like the very specific transportation plans, which the very specific transportation plans were drawn up without thinking about the re-envisioned Route 1 being special.
Yeah.
And there being actual places to walk to on Route 1. So like you have to go back and revisit those plans, and they just didn't.
I think it was an oops.
Yeah, I think it was an oops. And if we don't fix it, we're not gonna be able to walk along Route 1, which is the vision here is that it's gonna be a place you want to walk along. So I don't think this is like a trade-off. Like it's bad.
For 2 blocks.
Can I say one last thing?
Please.
There's been so much engagement lately, and I'm kind of on the other end of it and seeing kind of what we're hearing from people. And I just want to thank you because we've gotten so much feedback, like good feedback regarding bike and ped facilities. And I know that's not something that happened overnight. Like people in this group who have helped get the word out and been working on this for years to make cycling better. There's just been a few engagements that have focused so much on improving bicycle facilities. I'm just like aghast and just so happy So just thank you to everyone in this group that does all of these different engagement opportunities, that submitted things on South George Mason and Longbridge and Route 1 and attends all of these meetings. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I just want to say thank you.
And Leo, we thank you for allowing us to provide input. It is just so important and so valuable. Sometimes we kind of feel like, okay, the Civic Association is notified about something, and the bike paths don't have input, and that's something that we really need to pay attention to. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And does that mean that we sort of turned the tide on George Mason and that it was better in the end than it had been?
I
You
would
don't have to.
say possibly, but probably yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
some of us worked really hard there at the end.
It did not go unnoticed.
Good. Glad it worked out. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Leah?
Yeah.
After the tree murder along 4 Mile Run, and when about 30 trees were cut down by DES, right along the levee, can you get some feedback, some input on where the new trees are going to go and when they're going to go in? It was really, DES was really tone deaf on that one. Given they all the drill they went through on to save the trash trees along the Washington Boulevard Trail a few years ago.
I'm not aware of that, but I will figure that out and get back to you for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, everybody, for speaking up in all sorts of ways. I think we're done unless anybody else has a burning issue. All righty, 8:13, not too bad. Randy.
I'd like to point out something that Renee said that I think tells us part of why we are where we are. When he was asked about the timing of the lights at both sides of the Shirlington Road intersection, and he said, given the volume of traffic, there wasn't much they could do. And I think, we're all sitting here thinking, well, of course, his objective is to maintain the volume of traffic. His objective is not to make that the safest possible crossing. And the Vision Zero people have figured out that we're just not set up right. If we want to have Vision Zero, we're going to have to take a step back. We're going to have to stop talking about maintaining the volume of traffic. We're going to have a safety-oriented redesign of our system. But until we get that, Renee is doing his job. Staff is being told maintain the volume of traffic. That's what it's all about. So I just thought I'd point that out. Thank you.
That's a fantastic point, and I think you're right on target. And it'll take leadership from the top to redirect things. Yeah. It's a problem for Vision Zero and for all of us.
The expression that comes to mind is lipstick on a pig.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say in defense of Renee, since he's not here, he does work on a lot of bike ped projects too. I think it's just, like Randy said, a wider issue of the fact that for so many years and decades, we've just been focusing as a society on moving traffic, cars predominantly, and we just have to shift that thinking, and we need to do it more quickly because it's, people's lives are at risk. Thank you for mentioning that, Randy.
It's a big part of the Route 1 problem too. Got to get that traffic through.
Yeah.
And just what you said, this is not against Renee at all. I think he was fantastic, and he's obviously doing a very conscientious job. It's a problem, a much broader problem.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a problem that also ignores the science that if you build it, they will come. And if we build for cars, we'll get cars. If we build for people walking and biking, that's what we'll get. So, speaking of engagement, do we have a new date for the transit strategic plan?
Ooh, I'm not sure, but that's another thing I can look up and get back to you on.
Okay, thanks. Very excited about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
So for those of us who are ignorant, can you just explain what that is?
This is the reimagining, well, to some extent that we don't know, reimagining the ART bus system. So we're required to do a transit strategic plan. That is like a future planning for what ART should do. And those of us who have been saying, hey, ART, you should do something like what Alexandria did and rethink things either in a very big way or at least in a smaller way that gets more kids to school on transit. The answer we keep getting is, oh, well, we will look at all of this in this transit strategic plan. And so, and there was like a meeting very suddenly scheduled and then suddenly canceled around the transit strategic plan. I don't know what month it was, but sometime in 2023, and it's being rescheduled. So it's very exciting. It's not directly bikes, but of course it is much safer than drivers. And if we can see more people taking transit instead of driving, we will all be safer.
All car free is good.
And I would love on that note to put in a plug for giving free bus transit to all students, not just on ART, but on all of the buses that go through Arlington. I know that's been a real problem for my daughter.
It's coming. It's in the
Yeah,
works. They're literally
that would be
negotiating it right
wonderful.
now. I don't know when it's actually going to be signed, but they've been working on exactly that.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. And if you can help get the word out about getting those the iRide cards, it may ART may not want to publicize the link, but there is a link that an APS student can use to go on an APS issued device to get the iRide card, and it'll be delivered straight to their school. It's totally free. You just fill out the form. And it may have been pushed out to all Gunston parents, and so I may have pushed it out on my social media as well.
Oh, no,
If
we
you follow
couldn't.
me.
My daughter couldn't find a link, and so then we tried to find the location, and then we like went all over Boston looking, and it was like really hard to find. So that's good to know. Too late now, but I will pass that along. All right, 8:20. I promised you guys 8. Sorry about that, but great discussion. Thank you, everyone. And hopefully we will see everyone on the 5th of June together with the PAC. All right, I guess that's it. Have a
Thank
good
you,
night,
Cynthia. Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good meeting.
Good meeting. Thank you, Randy.